So, taking action is the most essential thing in order to improve at anything. The thing is, actions sometimes feel harder than it should. This is one of the struggles I see people running into most often. Since I struggled a lot in the past with it, I decided to conduct a research in order to overcome this problematic. Since then, I was able to achieve so much more. That's why I think it's important for me to share my personal knowledge and tools with you guys. Let's dive right into it. To start off, I think it's important to define what I mean by taking action. Taking action is not necessarily knowing what you'll do or how you'll do it. It's more about when you're gonna do it. It's about being in the productive moment that builds to improvement. When you think about it, when you talk about it with someone, when you plan it out, you're not actually doing it. For example, let's take a painter. He knows he wants to start painting realistic photos of different flowers. So this painter, he's got everything planned out. He watched 30 hours of YouTube videos on how to paint flowers. He's got his canvas ready and his color palette all laid out, ready for him in the living room. But when he watches his canvas, he just can't. He feels paralyzed. He's not actually doing it. Even though he has everything that's needed. Even though all he needs is to do the first stroke, and then the second, and the third. And then after a while, he's gonna be able to achieve his realistic painting. And if it's his first painting, it's not gonna be perfect. It's normal. When we are starting out, everything that we do is pretty imperfect, to be honest. One of the things I learned in the past few months that was life-changing for me, to be honest, is to learn to make things priorities. So for example, in the past, I had many projects. I wanted to build a board game, start a YouTube channel, manage all these other social medias, learn the piano, learn to play bass guitar, write a book, create a video game, even though I had absolutely no knowledge of how to build a video game from scratch. So I had all these goals, but none of them were my priority. There was also another goal that I had. I had one goal that was behind my mind for some time, but I was not able to really achieve it either. It was to get healthy, get in shape, not for the looks of it, but just to live a happy, healthy life. These are some of the motivations that pushed me to really prioritize some things. So at some point, I decided to create myself two different priorities. To be a healthy person. The second one was to be a good worker, doing a good job at work, being able to always be on time, always doing what was asked of me, and doing even a little bit more to be able to satisfy what my employer needs. So by doing that, I had these two priorities. All of the rest were not prioritized. So I knew when I woke up, I needed to prioritize these two things. The first step to create priorities would be to find justification that you really want to achieve your goals. So for example, someone wants to improve his basketball game at high school. This is not really a goal. It's too vague. There's so much things to improve in basketball. So he needs to narrow it down, trying to find a precise goal. So for example, he can practice his dribbling, he can practice his 2-point, 3-point shooting, practice his strategy, he can practice his awareness, spatial awareness around him, where his teammates are. But when you're trying to prioritize something, you need to be a little bit specific, and you need a justification. You have the right grades to get into college. This can be a really good objective, and at this point you can start thinking about making it a priority in your life. The second piece of knowledge that I found out was actually to determine what keeps me from achieving my goals. Sometimes the painter, maybe he had some pressure. He was always the best in his class in abstract painting and everyone was well-rounded. So he knows that if he paints a flower, a realistic flower, maybe other people will think, oh, I'm better than him in realistic flower painting. I don't think this fear is really worth not going out of his comfort zone and grow and improve and become a new, better version of himself. So it's important for me to understand that there are three different states in which we can be. The first one is to be mindful, to be in the present moment, to know what's going through our mind. It's to know what's happening when you're taking action. when I take my pen. I know I have my pen in my hand. The contrary is mindlessness. It's like when you're on your cell phone and you're just scrolling on your phone. You're not thinking about, oh, I'm scrolling on my phone. So I think this state can be quite difficult, and it prevents us from taking action. So the third state is to be in a negative loop of thought. So for example, all the things that are limiting yourself from achieving your goals. It's too late for me to do my workout now. Oh, I'll never improve. So this is mostly the negative talk. It's everything that's limiting yourself from being the best version of yourself. But the thing is, your thoughts are your own. You own your thoughts. You decide what thought you have. Maybe sometimes it feels like we don't really have control over our thoughts, but actually it's one of the things in life that we need to be really careful, because if we give up control of our thoughts, we give up control of our actions. If you want to take actions in life, you need to be aware of your thoughts, and you need to reshape your thoughts in order for them to work for you. The next piece of knowledge I'm going through is to remove your expectations when you're starting out. When starting out, it can feel like a big mountain. It can feel really hard, really painful to start things off. But actually, when you think about it, someone who's not in physical shape and wants to run can start by simply putting a foot in front of the other. He can just start walking, and he walks and he walks, and after a month or 2 or 3 or maybe 6 months of walking every single day, at some point he's going to be able to jog. Maybe the jog will be for 500 meters or maybe even less, but if he does it at this point and he continues walking in between, he eventually is going to be able to run a mile and 2 miles and 5 miles. All of this started by putting one foot in front of the other. That's where we need to remove our expectation, to change how we see our goals. We need to make our goals work for us. So instead of saying, I want to run 10 miles, one goal that can be really fulfilling and interesting is to say, I'd like to see how much I can improve by running 5 times a week. I'm trying to find my limit. I'm trying to find, where will this take me? How long can I improve by following such a simple process? And then when you get there, you're gonna get so much more goals. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you want to see the future releases. Have a good day now.